guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. So I am getting ready right now to make tortillas, and I actually just learned to do this about 2 months ago or so. So I'm not professional or very amazing at making them, but do you want to see? But anyhow, my husband has some family that grew up in Belize, so they absolutely love making some Belizean style food, and it is incredible. So these are more Belizean style tortillas, but they are so good. We use them for wraps, we use them for tacos, we use them for quesadillas, anything you can imagine that you would use a tortilla for or anything like that, we use these for, and they are so good. So I thought I would show you guys how to make these, and then hopefully at the end of the video I can show you guys one of the recipes that we use these in. It's just a super easy dinner recipe. I'm hoping everything works out for me to show you guys that, but that will be at the end, and so yeah, you'll have to wait till then to see what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and make my dough. It is about 10:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna go ahead and then section it off into like little dough balls that will each be a tortilla, and then it has to sit and rest for a while. So I figured if I get it mixed up this morning, then I'm gonna put Zendaya down for a nap, and I will fry them up with you guys once she's napping. So let's get into this and let's get started.
This recipe for tortillas is seriously so easy. It just calls for 5 cups of bread flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a half a cup of shortening. So I started by putting in the bread flour and the baking powder and the salt, and then I added in my shortening and just kind of used a fork to break it up so it wasn't in one big clump there in my bowl. After you have all those ingredients mixed together, you get some hot water in a cup or something, and yes, make sure it is hot, and you just slowly start adding that into your bowl while your mixer is mixing your dough. Now, you could do this by hand, but it would just take a really long time. I don't think I would even want to try doing this by hand. But you just continue adding in hot water until you get a dough that has a really nice consistency. I almost want to say kind of like Play-Doh. It's a little bit wet, but it doesn't stick to your hands, and it's not crumbly dry either. And it also will have like a good elasticity to it. You can kind of pull it and stretch it, and it just is a really nice texture.
Okay, so I have my dough all mixed up. I'll show it here to you guys. It just looks like this. The dough is really easy. It's just bread flour and salt and baking powder and shortening and hot water. And so anyways, I just mixed it up till I got like a good consistency, adding in water until it almost reminds you of like Play-Doh. Like it's a little bit sticky kind of, but it doesn't stick to your hands or anything like that, but it's not super dry and crumbly either. It really does remind you of like a Play-Doh texture. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to smear shortening on a cookie sheet, or just any sort of dish or something that you can lay out like dough balls on, and then I'm going to form my dough into a bunch of little balls to make tortillas, and then lastly I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap so no air gets into them, and then just let them sit for probably an hour to 2 hours until I fry them up.
form the dough balls, I just take a section of dough and just kind of work it over so it has a nice smooth front, and then I pinch the dough off between my first finger and my thumb to make kind of like a nice little ball that has a smooth top to it. The dough balls that I made were about ping pong ball size, and I tried to make them all the same size for my tortillas, but you could do different sizes if you want. You could do larger ones and smaller ones, and it doesn't really matter how you form them, but this is kind of just how I learned to do it and what works for me.
So as you can see, I finished all the dough that I had. It typically does about half of like a large cookie sheet, and one recipe makes about like 30 tortillas. So these will each be a tortilla. But anyways, so then what you want to do is you can either use shortening, or I'm going to use this like non-stick butter spray that I have. And I'm just going to kind of spray over the tops of the tortillas. This will help to keep them soft. Once I spray over the tops, then I'm just going to take saran wrap and cover them just like this, and I just want to seal it tight so that no air gets in. If you have a lid for your cookie sheet or your glass dish, whatever you choose to use, you could also just put a lid on top, and that would work just as fine as well. Okay, so I am just gonna let these sit for about 2 hours, give or take, and I will catch up with you guys then when I am ready to fry them into tortillas. Alrighty guys, so it is about 2 hours later and I'm getting ready to fry up my tortillas, but I thought I would show you my little setup thing here that I have and how I'm kind of gonna do it and prep them and yeah, then fry them. So here's kind of what we have going on. I have my dough right here. I'm going to grease this part of the counter with shortening. You definitely want to make sure your counter is well greased so your tortillas don't tear as you're pressing them out. And I don't roll them, I press them out with my hands. And then they are going to go right here on the griddle that is heating up. You can also fry these on a frying pan. That's what I had been doing, but I had issues with the sides kind of wanting to curl in because there wasn't much extra space on the pan. So I actually just bought this griddle from Walmart. It's like their cheapest one. It was $20. So anyways, that's what I'm going to be using to fry up my tortillas. So I have my coffee and I'm ready to get started. But before I do, I want to show you guys something because it is so pretty and so cozy and it's perfect. It just gets me in the Christmas mood. But anyways, take a look at this. So excuse my dirty windows, but outside it is looking so gorgeous. We are in the middle of getting quite a bit of snow and it's just so cozy, and yeah, it definitely has me feeling all like the cozy winter whatevers. I don't know what to say. But anyways, so I'm gonna get started on frying up these tortillas and yeah, showing you guys kind of how I do it and what I do.
To press out my tortillas and form them, I just grease my counter really well with shortening. Like I said, this way your tortilla won't tear when you're pressing it out. And then I just pick up one of the dough balls and just kind of start to press it out in like a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that, but I just kind of get it pressed flat in my hands before I lay it on the counter and just slowly work the dough into like a large circle. And you can work the dough really, really thin. That'll be perfectly fine. As you can see, my dough is getting fairly thin because you can see the counter through it, but it hasn't ripped yet or anything like that. You just keep working it until it gets to a size that you prefer before you pick it up and lay it on the griddle.
I have this one all pressed out. It's really nice and thin, as you can see, but there aren't actually any holes in it. So then I'm just going to carefully pick it up, and then I'm just going to lay it over here on my griddle. And you can kind of, if it gets like a little wrinkled on the griddle, you can kind of spread it out. I will just show you guys. So here you can see it's beginning to fry, and it's not going to take long. So then once it kind of gets bubbly, which you can see that, I'm going to flip it onto the other side, and then I will flip it one last time again before it is completely done. So here's what that underside looks like. You can see it just barely has some brown spots on it, and it's nice and thin yet. So I'm gonna let it cook a little bit more on this side, and then I'll flip it over again and then take it off, and I'll start a stack laying it out on my counter to cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this next one. I'm just gonna press it out in my hands and then lay it down, press it out, and fry it up the same way on the griddle. And then once it's done, like I said, I have a stack over on my counter by my stove that is gonna be cooling.
I wanted to tell you guys too, just a little tip while you're rolling out your tortillas, make sure to keep the ones on your pan, like your dough balls, covered. It helps to keep them nice and soft, as opposed to them maybe getting a little bit hard on the top. And also, on another note, you guys can also substitute lard for the shortening. Even in your dough and everything, you don't have to use shortening. That's just what I use because I don't have lard, and it works really well. But yeah, lard should work the same way and work fine for you if you have that.
So I just finished frying up all my tortillas, and they're sitting right here. I just laid them out on the counter to cool, and then once they're cool, typically what I do is I store them in like a gallon Ziploc bag, and if I know I'm going to be using them right away, I'll put them in the fridge. If I'm not, I put them in the freezer. They keep awesome that way. So this is kind of what they look like once they're fried. Mine are not perfectly round, or not all of them at least. But anyways, once you are ready to use them, you can pull them out of the fridge if you're not using them right away, or pull them out of the freezer and let them thaw, and then just stick them in some tin foil in the oven to get warm, or you can microwave them, or you can use them just how they are. I use them even in Nelson's lunch for like bacon and lettuce wraps. They are so delicious. There's so many different things you can use the tortillas for. So it's the next evening, and I'm getting ready to start on supper, but I'm gonna do something yucky, ew. Something really simple, but I'm gonna use the tortillas that I made yesterday, so I thought I would share with you guys what I'm making, and yeah, just an easy dinner recipe with the tortillas. So we're gonna have barbecue chicken on tortillas, or eat it in tortillas. I have some chicken legs that I want to use, so I think what we're gonna do is end up probably putting them on the grill for a little bit, and then putting them in the oven to finish like cooking all the way through. And then we'll eat them on tortillas. Like, we'll pull the chicken off and eat it on tortillas with barbecue sauce and maybe cheese, I'm not sure. And then I'm gonna make a salad, I think, possibly, to go with it. So super simple, super easy supper, but really quick and delicious. You could use any kind of chicken on tortillas. You could do like pulled pork. You could do, you know, your favorite barbecue chicken recipe, whatever. But it's just a super easy way to have a really quick dinner. And yeah, since you already have the tortillas made and they're in the fridge or in the freezer, it's a really, really easy dinner recipe. Can you say hi? Say hello. Can you say hi? I think it's so cool. Okay, should we go start supper? Okay, bye.
So for these drumsticks, we decided to grill them, and Nelson does all the grilling. I cannot grill yet. So we just grilled the outsides actually to get like just like a nice grill texture on the outsides of the meat. And then once the outsides were nicely done, you'll see here in a bit, we actually put them in a pan, and I put them in the oven at like 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. These were bigger drumsticks, so you just kind of have to check them and see if your meat is nice and soft and pulls away from the bone like you want it to, and then you'll know that they're done the whole entire way through. While my chicken was cooking, I got out my tortillas. They were nice and thawed out, but I just selected out however many I was going to use tonight and wrapped them in tin foil, because when my chicken got down to like the last 10 minutes or so in the oven, I just stuck my tortillas in with them, and that made them get nice and warm and soft, and so they were super delicious for supper. I also made myself a quick salad while the chicken and tortillas were in the oven. Nelson hadn't went in one tonight, and sometimes I just make them in like the single serving bowls so there's less waste as opposed to making a large salad and us not eating the whole entire thing. So I quickly just cut up some lettuce and some olives and banana peppers. I love all the more exotic things on my salad. I don't know if it's exotic, but anything kind of sour or bitey or hot or anything like that, I just absolutely love those toppings on my salad. So anyways, I just cut them up real quick to just make a quick salad for myself to go along with our supper. I would also include a clip in here of how we eat these. I think this is one of Nelson's favorite meals. I mean, he likes a lot of things, but I know he loves barbecue chicken and tortillas. So anyways, you just pull the chicken off of the drumstick and just use however much you need until it fills up your tortilla, and you can either pull it apart so it's more shredded or leave it in bigger chunks. It really does not matter. And then you can just top it off with barbecue sauce and then just roll up your tortilla however you wish, and yeah, that's pretty much how you eat it. It's really simple, but it does taste so good, and these tortillas just make the meal for sure.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe it gave you another idea for dinner time or for a meal. If you're new to my channel or you've been watching my channel for some time and haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up so I know that you enjoy these type of cooking videos. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye guys!